The Avengers Doomsday is coming out. Of course, I'm wearing our Doomsday shirt. You can get it at shop.filmthreat.com. But did you know that to prepare, this is what you must do? There are, well, first of all, look at this image. This image here. This is what we've got to resolve. How is all of this going to come together and make sense? And someone did a chart. I'll share. Is it okay? I'm going to share this chart here. You need to see this. This is the road to Avengers Doomsday is over 300 hours of content. This is from the X account by Physical Media. It will take you 330 to 335 hours to see all of this. What are we even doing? Yeah, and how is it going to make sense?
Realistically, you only need to see like 4 of those movies.
Yeah.
Well, yes, you need to see the Avengers.
Oh, and unfortunately, Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four, since they're the main goddamn protagonists of the first movie that everyone keeps ignoring.
What do we?
But he appears at the end of the movie, so why do you need to see all of Fantastic Four?
Because it sets up how they're able to do what they're going to be doing.
Sure.
Why anyone would
That's
listen.
what that whole movie was about.
I mean, when you look at this chart, let me get a better version of that. But what do you think? What do you think of that? What are your thoughts?
I just gave mine. So what do you think?
I mean, you don't need to see all
right.
300. That's like saying you have to read every single Marvel comic for every big summer crossover.
But this is this going to like turn off normies? That, I mean, look, I don't think by no means do I think Doomsday is going to fail at all. But is it going to do brand new day numbers? Is it going to get repeat?
Think it's going to do brand new day numbers.
Is it going to do repeat business?
I'll here's my prediction. It'll do just as well as the Odyssey did.
Right.
Okay,
but when we go on budgets, that's not great.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be one of those movies that makes a whole lot of money, but people are going to be me being mixed about it. I mean, you know, the excitement that we all had at the end of Endgame is gone. And looking forward, there's no vision as to what this movie is going to be moving forward. At least with Infinity War and Endgame, you had an idea of, you know, what the potential of those two films would be. Here, there is no potential because we don't know what's going on unless you've read, you know,
the multiple
works.
Leaks that keep fucking coming out that are
or
all
you read
correct,
or you read
the
or you read the storyline of Marvel Comics that got me to stop reading Marvel Comics once and for all.
Yeah, it needs to make like over 900 million just to break even.
Yeah,
and it could,
and it's starring all the people that didn't resonate in Phase 4 and 5.
But I do think that, I mean, as a comic fan, you know, reading comics literally for decades, there is a quality of a big summer crossover to this film, and I do think it's going to be a lot of fun to watch, even though because, you know, it's how many times it's so weird that, like, I love X-Men Days of Future Past, both versions, the regular theatrical and the road cut. I think it's a great movie. But in Logan, Professor X dies, and yet he's back in this movie. Professor X has died multiple times in the X-Men.
Yes.
And in the comic books too.
Yeah, and you can go back and you look. So this movie is not necessarily I think what it is, it's a great comic book crossover that all you need to know is basically have the gist of who these characters are for it to work. You know, like, and I think it's everyone who's right is saying that you know, we don't know the Fantastic Four enough. They're not as beloved. The Thunderbolts aren't as beloved as any of these characters. But really, this movie is pretty much it's about Captain America. Yeah. There's all these other people surrounding it.
Well, Captain America is Sam Wilson now, so it's about Steve Rogers.
Yes, it's about Steve Rogers.
About T-shirt man.
And I do think that I think people are going to have a really good time with this movie because it's bananas. You know, it's just, and I think if you want to go see a spectacle, because, you know, we didn't know who Hans Gruber was when we saw Die Hard. But nobody was sitting there going, there was no build up to the taking over the Nakatomi
I think
Plaza.
people will like the first 5 minutes, and they'll like any time the X-Men are on screen. But when it goes to Wakanda or any of the other characters, they're not going to care.
I mean, there is a strong Steve Rogers through line.
Sure.
I mean, there's things in this that I couldn't even conceive of on the page. Let's say that.
To your Die Hard reference, Die Hard didn't dominate the opening weekend. That movie got word of mouth and built over time, and Han Solo became a great villain because people talked about it and people enjoyed it. He was a great villain because the word of mouth. Are we going to get that with this?
I just think Doomsday is going to deliver a hell of a bang, and it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. That's
I don't doubt
from the opening shot. If the opening shot stays the same as scripted.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we shall see. The running time for the movie is not locked, even though tickets have been pre-sold. In fact, I have tickets for 2 different showings of the movie in Infinity Vision, whatever that is.
I'm very curious. I did a show about the editorial of this movie, and I read a leak about Avengers Encore.
Yeah.
And I don't know if the leak is true, but the leak pretty much confirmed what I said, because I suspected the screenplay for Avengers Doomsday was over 180 pages.
Wow.
And that if you go by page count, the traditional formula is it's a page a minute. So it's over 3 hours. And when I read it was shorter, those running times were shorter. I'm like, there were scenes in that. If I had seen the screenplay, there are scenes that could easily, I figured if they're going to do, when I heard they're doing Avengers Encore, I'm like, there's scenes in that script that I knew they were going to move into Encore because they could. And the leaks were saying that they did just that, which I think is kind of unfortunate, because the things that if the leaks are true, there are things that are unique to that movie that now become unique to Encore that involve major plot points that Doomsday should have within them. But I'm sure they did that because they wanted to cut down the running time of Doomsday.
Well, I mean,
manageable, because Doomsday should have been 3 hours and 15 minutes, but there's no way Disney's going to let them do that.
Unless they do special editions.
They have pre-sold tickets based on the runtime. Who knows? The Russo brothers were interviewed at Comic-Con. We showed the clip. They don't know what the runtime is. They're still editing as they prep Secret Wars.
Mm-hmm.
So this, and look, by the way, a lot of people, if you look at the history of the making of some of the greatest movies ever made, it is the most effed up. The making of Star Wars. I mean, George Lucas nearly died. The movie was a mess.
The making of Empire.
The making of Empire was also a mess. The making of The Godfather was a torture. You can watch a whole series on it on Paramount Plus.
So good.
The Offer. It's a great series. The making of some of the best movies you've ever seen have been behind the scenes a disaster. So could it be good? Yes, but I'll tell you, just to watch the trailers for all the movies and Disney Plus series, it would take 4 hours or more. I'm just to watch the trailers. I'm not joking.
By the way, I think the trailer for Doomsday and all their promotional material sucks.
Yeah, I think it's terrible.
I think they've really undersold the film. I think that they could do a lot better. I mean, I don't know if they're going to release that scene. It's weird. It's weird to me. Their whole approach. I don't understand it.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
But I do think the movie's going to be a hell of a lot of fun to watch.
We shall see.
It'll be interesting, especially hearing the way they've done it, where a lot of the actors were shooting by themselves and just to be put in later, and not the best way to do it. And yes, I use the equate to video games. Back in the day, it used to be something called BioWare Magic, when really BioWare Magic just turned out to be really talented people doing crunch time.
Yeah.
I don't know if we still have that same level of talent. And flying by the seat of your pants, I don't think they ever finished an actual... This is the final script for Doomsday. It was always just, we'll do it in editing.
I'll bet there isn't a final script now.